Hello everyone. Today I will be talking about Barbarossa El Alamein, the deck building card game board games. This game, it had some notoriety back in the day, because it was edgy, but I think it's probably been a decade or maybe even 6+ years since I was talking about it. I think the most recent thing I remember was some video recording, but the quality was so low and the camera was just so bad because they're amateurs and it's like wow. But I want to talk about the game and not the history, but there's quite a bit of background and it does have its own merits. I don't want to just meme on this game because yeah, I get it. The concept is ridiculous along with the art. It's anime girls and it's World War II and you're playing as the Germans. But I just, I am passionate about this. I've looked into it a lot, I've looked into the companies, and I can, things have happened. And I think that's pretty cool. And I want to share this. And, this is, I could probably make, I could talk about this a lot. I can go to the artists and just go into several deep dives, and also I made up Magic the Gathering proxy deck based on this. But anyways, let's get into this. But first of all, El Alamein and Barbarossa, or Barbarossa came first. They are deck builder games. Deck builder board games. So the most popular of this genre would be Dominion. I'd imagine you've probably heard of it at least. It's pretty popular. It's pretty old. It's classical. It's got a lot of expansions, but I have the base game and Intrigue, and this is probably, I don't know, maybe the ninth board game I ever owned. But aside from those board games, I believe it's also been kind of a video game features all. Obviously, a trading card game is technically a deck builder, but I'm talking you're building it in the middle of the game, so it's adapting and evolving. That's kind of what makes it cool. And the main one I can think of is Slay the Spire, because I don't know, I feel like everybody's heard of Slay the Spire. I'm not sure if I don't know if it's indie, but yeah, but Slay the Spire, and it's probably gotten more traction again, given that the second game's released. But aside from, Combat one, there is Balatro as well. Balatro? Balatro? Anyways, I don't own the game, but I'm pretty sure it's a roguelike deck builder. It's roguelike because they got the jokers and, you draft cards. But those are the popular ones. One of the first board games I ever got, for myself, not family, Monopoly or Life or, Connect 4. Anyways, one of the first games I ever got was Xenoshift, and I think there's, I know there's Xenoshift Dreadmire, but they don't make Xenoshift anymore, because, it happened, I believe. Was it through? Come on. No, it wasn't. Yeah, full mini or not. Who? But, it's a deck builder game where, you're defending the base, and, the shop's random, and there's, all these abilities. It's really cool in concept, but I feel one of the things holding it back is co-op. I don't know how you do it. I don't know. Maybe it's just because they did it in board game form instead of a computer form. I think it'd be pretty cool in a computer form, kind of like another game. But it is, yeah, it is rather brutal, I believe, unless, I don't know, just random and also just stats, it's, you kind of need to know what you're doing. But it just suffers from the issue of, it's cooperative, so, you either end up having a genius or everybody loses, or things that people who dislike Pandemic or Forbidden Island / Desert, But after that, another deck builder game, which I believe is also pretty popular, because it's pretty simple and cheap, yeah, it was cheap, because it's just a single box, like, it's tiny. But we got Star Realms here, and it's like a 1 versus 1 direct fighting thing, you know. It's very simple. It's only got 3 resources, or 3 technically, but, you know, thing to buy cards with, thing to attack opponent, and then recovering from the attacks. But yeah, simple game. It's cool. It's a deck builder. It's competitive. And then this here, Ratropolis. I love this game so much. I should probably make I should make more content talking about the card, like not just the arts and not the arts, but just, you know, the references in it, because, like, I don't know, they put a lot of attention and care. I mean, they put a lot of attention and care to all the cards, but I don't know, Retropolis, it's cool, I like it. They're making a new game called Ratopia, I believe, and the Steam reviews on that are pretty funny, but who knows if I'd get into it. But going back to Barbarossa and El Alamein, here's the backs of them. You know, they do come in these nice little boxes. It does have a 2-parter box sequence thing. You know, so the top is the top half of the card, and all these arts. You know, one thing I didn't notice until I was making this is it actually has the illustrator's name at the bottom left. But looking up Barbarossa, you know, we got Barb, and then we got the Soviet Union hammer and sickle, or, you know, so you look, hammer and sickle, and then Rosa, and then, you know, we have an art here. Her name is, what was it, SS Panzer Regiment? You know, you can tell because, or, I'm not sure you can tell if it's SS, but, you know, they're dressed up, okay? You know, they commissioned a lot of arts. Like, if you look at the bottom, the blurb, you know, featuring famous Japanese illustrators, and I'll go get into them a bit, but, like, these are famous. They see that website there? I tried to go into this website, but it's gone. It's gone. They're gone. Oh, shoot. My headset. But, you know, they got the sexy word there. You know, you know, go recruit. Look, it's a deck builder game. You know, this is... They even have an explanation of what a deck builder game, because this was made in 2010. So, the Japanese one was made in 2010, and I believe it got translated over to English in, like, 2013, 2012-ish, which is why most of those videos acknowledging this game's existence are from them, because, you know, it released, it had a splash, there are a couple of articles on Wikipedia, but I didn't bother to, like, read them and source them, because, I don't know, this should be me, my passion. And then, from Barbarossa, they made a sequel in a way, El Alamein. You know, I hope that, you know, Barbarossa, it's named after Operation Barbarossa from World War II, or maybe if you play Hearts of Iron 4 Untermet, or yeah. But that's Barbarossa, German versus Soviets are trying to get to Moscow. Yup. Then we got El Alamein, which is Egyptian, I believe, even though I was always confused because, oh, maybe it's Roman, or, yeah. Anyways, you got El Alamein here, you know, we're in Tobruk. They do, I don't know if slander is the correct word, but, you know, they are not fond, you know, they call the Italian army puny, okay? And right here, this is, Rommel. Yeah, it's one of the depictions of Rommel of all time. But here, ooh, look, you can mix and match them. Isn't that cool? But hey, it's El Alamein, and also look at this. You know, if you know the Deutsches Afrika Korps symbol, you can see that they did a spin on it, because I guess, yeah, I guess the British don't really have symbols like that, or maybe they do. I don't know. I was just desert rats, but that's just the beginning of the front of the box. But that's just the art, you know. You can tell this is anime. It's probably not PG, but in terms of gameplay, it's actually on the same level Dominion. Dominion was always the comparison everybody made. Even I'm making it. I make it, the board game websites, but, like, it really is, because, you got, well, it's more like Dominion, or it's most like Dominion in the way that the shop is kind of a supply zone, where it's like each card is a semi copies. Like Star Realms has a shop section, and it's like 5 cards, and then whenever one's removed, another one fills in. Slay the Spire, Retropolis, they just kind of offer you random stuff. Xenoshift had a weird thing where it's like there's only 9 items, but there's 5 copies of each, and that's when you deplete a copy, then a new one comes in, but that's like a supply issue. But Dominion, at the end of each turn, you have to discard your hand and then draw 5. Same in Star Realms, and then Retropolis has a similar system, and so does Xenoshift. I guess Slay the Spire also does it, because if you don't play your cards. So, it's basically really normal to discard your hand at the end of your turn. But Barbarossa and El Alamein, objectively, they are the most strategical in the sense that you can actually plan by holding on to a card instead of just discarding everything and drawing up to 5. Now, only downside of the system is you only draw 4, so it is a bit slower. Yeah, I have plenty of issues with the gameplay loop itself. I haven't played those games in years, but that's why I'm here to talk about the passion and the human spirit behind the creation of this. And speaking of the cards, like, yeah, it's more strategical, but it might just be a solved game, because there's not really too much variation, because the whole box, all 3 on those cards, or so, or all the player cards, it's like, you have your starter deck, and you build from there, but all the cards are just available always. Like, there's 10 copies of each, so, there's kind of some, gameplay, or strategy revolved around who's buying what, in the war zone is what they call the shop. Oh, and also, should say, you put the goons onto the field, or some of them, and then they're like there, and then it's kind of like, not like Magic, but you can exhaust them or tap them, or it's a card game, okay? You'll get it, yeah, but sadly, it's not that replayable. The most replayable thing is just the enemy deck, because it's goofy, and then the support deck, which is like randoms. But here's the card lists. They got wagons, horse-drawn wagons is your copper, motorized transport's your silver, locomotive transport's your gold, and then you got army cards, which there are 4 resources in the game: attack, money, recruitment, and tactics. Tactics are like your actions, like how many cards you can play. Attack is what you use to take over territories, like attack the enemy. Money is used to buy things, and then recruitment is buys. But here, you can see that they say Little Polis. I believe this is only one available here. Like, obviously I have the cards, but we can get onto some other time. And when I'm passionate, because I don't feel like cross-referencing all the translated names, because I did that for my Magic deck, because I respect these artists, and I want people to know that these are artists that were real, and they made this. Maybe it's not a proud legacy, but it's still a legacy that I don't wish for them to be in trouble for. I really hope. I'd feel really bad and disappointed if this video got taken down and I got in trouble and they got in trouble, or like people started hating, But never mind. But Lil, meaning a term of endearment, Lil Polis, like, because in Japanese they'd say Polish-chan, and chan's cute, and the closest English approximation we had was Lil, like Lil Bo Peep. Actually, I think that might be like the main real only reference. Yeah, your army cards, which, you know, they do the things. Actually, yeah, army cards are normal cards. Strategies, they're like one-time use effects, and then support cards are like a pile that are shuffled up, and then we got events are what you're fighting it. Oh, there's only two. Oh, yeah, that's right. Events are like defenders, which will get in your way when you're attacking the sites. Yeah, it's it's like 9 pages of rules, but like half of that is illustrations. It's just hard to get conceptually because it's just cards everywhere. It's not like there's a mat or anything. But anyways, that's Barbarossa, and then there's a bunch of promo cards as well, but I don't have any of them sadly, and probably can't get them anymore unless you go to like not a reseller, but you know, aftermarket things. But that's Barbarossa, where you fight the Russians. I can talk about this the Soviet artist a bit because they're funny. But another video, and then in El Alamein, we can see that there's only copper. It's just motorized transports, but you see the strange thing about that is that you can't buy them because like it's the desert, so they tried to simulate the desert and suffering by making it so that you just don't have money. You have to get money through alternative methods, like the Armored Signal Battalion, which like gives discounts. Also, there's only five of each of the tanks, so yeah, you're resource starving in the desert. Isn't that awesome? Let me think. I think the Africa Corps HQ gives money, and so does the Italian Army HQ. But the cool thing is that the Brits, they counterattack, you know, it just ends up stalling. It's like, this game's cooler, like, it's just more interactive, but, yeah, it's... I don't know, because maybe that, like, eliminates the meta diversity, because at least in the game you make an argument of like, oh, but what if you like rush units and then score early points where you get the war machine fully going? It takes a lot. War is suffering, okay? It's Battle for North Africa was not miserable, but you know, that would have taken forever, and you know, but look, the art and fact that it exists is why we're here. You know, see that on the back? Famous Japanese illustrators, they commission these people, you know? So right there is also on the box. These are the other faces, which I really like, because I just like the arts there. But also another thing is that these arts here, these are like the full arts, I'm realizing, because in the game they're kind of cut off, and I really want to find all these original arts, but like, the only original arts I can find here are the Takashi Akira here, who, don't mix him with somebody else, I almost made that mistake. Then here is, Pyongyang Rock, which might be a familiar name, you know, look up their Wikipedia page, might have been, like, involved with the Bakumonogatari series and stuff, you know, they're just, you know, they're just artists, you know? I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, and, I mean, look, they're just doing art, okay? You know, they got a job, I guess, but this is the Italian Army HQ, this is the motorized transport, this is the Luftwaffe, this is the Africa Corps HQ, this is the British... No, this is the armor... Oh, wait! They're the same art? Man. Sorry. I'm freaking out, because this is not right. Because this art, it's a mashup, because this card on the right here is the Armored Recon Battalion? Or was it Armored Scout Battalion? But this card is a separate card from this card, because on the left here is the Light Tank Brigade, so this is actually an unused art for the game. So I was about to say, I was like, wait, why is this person got the eagle there? because I know this is the British Light Tank Brigade, but that's cool. I should probably look into that a bit more, because this might be a Crusader. Anyways, this is the Armored Signal Battalion, and you see that vehicle back there? Like, they cared. That's an 8 rad. Like, you can tell it's an 8 rad. Armored car from the wireframe, you know? It's not a Puma. I mean, it's a predecessor to the SDKFZ 234, but, like, that is an 8 rad. That was in Africa. It's got the telltale big wireframe look. The artists, they cared, okay? Like, Akir here, that's a Crusader, I think. If you look in the motorized transports, those are Opel Blitz trucks, I believe. And then in the Africa Corps HQs, I mean, that's just a command car. It's kind of hard. But look, these artists cared. But I went to El Alamein first, because it's, I don't know, because it's deserty, and maybe I messed up the order, but, you know, yeah, it's cool. But, you know, Barbarossa, they also got it. You know, they got artists. The thing I'd like to note, these were Japanese, but some of the promo cards, which I don't have, but I found images online from Magic the Gathering proxy deck, and, you know, I want to credit the artists, and I'm not sure if they hired some Chinese artists, because I had a difficult time translating them. Yeah, I can't tell the difference between Japanese and Chinese, so maybe they're all Chinese. But here is the Barbarossa art. You know, on the left side we got the box art. We got Lil Guderian. You know, the Lil being, you know, that explanation I gave earlier about explaining why it's Lil, because it was translated like a decade and a half ago before rappers were Lil Uzi, Lil Vert, whatever, Lil rapper name. We got Lil Guderian, which is, I mean, it's Heinz Guderian. Heinz Guderian. Then we got the Panzer IV Regiment here, on the right side, to the left of Guderian. And they don't have the art, but, like, in the background you can actually see, like, the Panzer IVs, because they actually care. This here is Adolf Chan. That's a promo card, technically, but this card is the Führer's Suggestion, and it's like a tutor, but who cares? Like, yeah, they were cooking with this game. And right here is the Heavy Tank Battalion, and I don't even see it behind it, but that's a Tiger, and that's cool. Then here is a promo card. This promo card is air support. It was from a promo pack for Barbarossa, which I don't have, like, because, like, the weird thing is, look, they trademarked it, copyright. I really hope they don't kill me on this video. We got the BF-109 in the background, the autocannon version, actually, the 37 mils, I believe. But yeah, look, they cared, okay? They cared so bloody much, alright? And then here, SS Panzer Regiment, which is the box art, but, you know, here's the full art. There are other full arts, like, if you went on to the website of Barbarossa and, like, the campaign, you could have gotten, like, a Panzer IV towel, or, like, a pin, or playmat. And I found some other arts, like, I remember finding a fuller version art of the Luftwaffe here, but they're not sourced properly. That's the sad thing. But speaking of promo cards, they had more promo cards. They were just kind of one-offs, because it would kind of suck. Like, they had to be events or supports, because it'd be kind of weird if there's, like, a whole new shop item. So for the supports, obviously mentioned Adolf Chan. Then there was Little Kleinst. I believe it was Kleinst. Yeah, but that's Barbarossa. Then they added more enemy types, on them being the air support, but it was actually a buff for your troops, strangely. So it was a good thing when you're attacking, and there was air support. Then there's, like, Strategic River Crossing, which was, like, a gamble card, but it's more of a win more card, because, yeah, gave you points, but just summon a bunch of random stuff. And then we had Sabotage, which is like a, scrap mechanic. Like, you get sabotaged. It's a partisan. They got a partisan in the image. Let me think what else. I think that's basically all of the promo cards. But from the promo cards... Oh, and then there's also El Alamein promo cards was just like, was it Das Boot? So, hey, naval support, and then the heavy tank battalion, because, it's Africa, so, like, you're only using Panzer 3s, and you're really rich, the Panzer 4s, so it's like, whoa, heavy tank, whoa. But they added a couple of new enemies, like the British commanding officer and the Desert Rats, Desert Rats? Yeah? I hope you know what that is. Please, 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 please. Sorry about the little cup. I got really sidetracked, and it was just a general disaster. But the website, it's gone. It used to work. kamikaze-games.com. You can see the links on the back of the board game box. They used to sell their products, but I'm just assuming they just completely stopped manufacturing their stuff. No more pins, no more towels, no more games. And so, they just went defunct. Who knows what happened to them? And, well, I don't know. That's kind of making me feel sad. But, one thing I am happy to say is that most of these artists, they're still kicking. Most of them. They're still around. They made careers of themselves. They did their dreams. It's kind of beautiful, actually. I don't know. That time capsule part of this game is kind of why I want to talk about it. But since the website's down, you can check out the Kickstarters. Like, the website's down. You probably can't get it anymore, because Kamikaze Games, like, they were part of ArcLight Games, but I went on to ArcLight website, and it's not there. And if we go back, we can see that Kamikaze Games changed their, like, well, it's not a full change, but still, something's up. Right? Yeah, because here. Yeah, no, it's definitely different. Yeah, no, it's not just because of the color of the box. They changed. Wait, no, what? Okay, never mind. It's whatever, because this changes colors here, and then, it's fine. It's whatever. But I got my copies about 7 years ago? Yeah, it was like right before COVID-19 did the thing with everything. So, if you want this, I'm sorry, I'd have to leave you disappointed that it's probably no more, This is some, like, discontinued by manufacturer type rarity. But yeah, I got it half off. I ordered it directly from a Japanese website. Like, they were charging Japanese yen, and I had to, I paid, and then, money conversion happened automatically, because we're in the modern world, and all that, but I don't know if you guys can get it. But, Board Game Geek is probably geeking and tweaking, and they said that if you go to Board Game Geek, and you go to the Kamikaze developer, you got Barbarossa, Heavy Tank Pack for some reason, which is just like a singular promo card, El Alamein. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. They made a historical version of Barbarossa. That's like, hell. Sorry, I just spilled water, like, all over my desk. Heck. Okay, oh my gosh, sorry, where was I? Yeah, but they made a historical edition where they used real stock images of World War II, and it's like, wow. They it's historical now and less offensive, I guess. But I think the funny thing is that there's only an English version. But sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. For whatever reason, Board Game Geekers says that this one is under Kamikaze Games, which I don't believe it, because it says it's made by Japanime Games. And the thing about Japanime Games is that they're a company, they make a couple games, but, you know, they're the one who, like, translates Japanese games to English and English games to Japanese. But Arclight Games is, like, one of their competitors, because they're also a Japanese board game company. So, I don't know, maybe, like, Arclight let Kamikaze go, and Kamikaze just, like, remove their name from existence? Because the website's gone. Like, if they're still kicking, I'd imagine it'd still be up, because then this thing would be here. But, I don't know, Board Game Geek, you know, I do still gotta thank Board Game Geek, because that's where I got to see a lot of the arts, and, you know, they had a website, and, you know, that was the start of, I don't know, my interest, because, you know, they had the website of Kamikaze Games when it was working, but now it doesn't, and probably nobody except me cares to check if the link still works, or flag them down, because they probably just don't exist, but can't find anything, because Kamikaze is just such a common-ish word that, like, why would you call yourself this? Like, oh yeah, here's a board game, you know? Like, naming this game Barbarossa was kind of a headache in the first place. But I don't know, I might get this game, because it's $30 on Amazon, so I might get this game, just for the love of the game, you know, World War II, anime girls. It's, you know, it kind of feels like Girls Frontline, or Azure Lane and such. But, anyways, thank you all for listening to my slideshow presentation, rant, autism, hyperfixation, passion, speech. It's probably incoherent, but hey, you know, the confidence and passion, that is what will carry me forward. And from this, I'll have a launching off point for other videos. Perhaps, I don't know, if anyone wants to leave a comment of whether they'd be interested in my Magic the Gathering, or Magic the Gathering proxies, or perhaps a deep dive on some of the artists who participated on the Barbarossa El Alamein projects, I'd be happy to do it. Well, I'm gonna do it anyways, but just if you have any preferences. Alright, thank you for listening. I hope you learned something. Hope you learned something, and just, I don't know, I don't want you to be, like, angry at me or come out with something bad. Alright? Alright, bye-bye.